The African Cup of Nations Afcon 2025 has come and gone. It has been won and lost. But remember that the Super Eagles of Nigeria finished third in that competition after beating the Pharaohs of Egypt via penalties to win the top place game. But of course, ex-internationals have continued to talk about Nigeria, their performance at the African Cup of Nations. One of them is Sunday Olise, who used to be the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. At the time, was also the captain of Nigeria. I remember he was the captain of Nigeria in the year 2000 and the year 2002. He has said something about Victor Osimhen. He basically pointed accusing finger at Victor Osimhen. That is the reason why Nigeria didn't qualify for the final of the competition. We'll try to talk about that on this part of the show. Welcome to another edition of Sports Hangout, where we talk about everything sports. And today we are looking at the African Cup of Nations. In retrospect, it ended last week. Nigeria finished third. Many Nigerians are still trying to comprehend what happened to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And Sunday Olise has given us a context to talk about on the show. JJ, let's start. Sunday Olise is a former coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He's a former captain as well, so we cannot say he doesn't know what he's saying. So he's someone who is experienced, he's well traveled. He played for the Super Eagles a number of times, and he was a captain as well. He said something about Victor Osimhen. I want to read part of what he said. According to Sunday Olise, he said Osimhen was on-field behavior and criticism of teammates destroyed team chemistry. Let me quote what he said. We are confusing talent with license. Victor is world class, but talent is not licensed to destroy team chemistry. When you publicly diminish your teammates, you break the spirit. You destroy the very confidence a team needs to survive a semi-final. I want to ask you, JJ, is this even a fair comment to make against Victor Osimhen? Because Osimhen scored 4 goals for Nigeria in the African Cup of Nations.
Well, I don't know, whatever it seems ex-players,
yeah,
they always have it.
Especially that in the 94 sets.
They always have
they won the African Cup of Nations in the 94 and then they finished second in 2000. It's not as if they won 2 or 3 African
They were not constant in finals themselves.
Yes.
And so I don't know what ex-players, what they have against current crop of players. And look at when he was the manager himself, he had fallouts with players.
Yes.
And he didn't.
Yeah, that was 2015.
Anything noted.
He had a fight with Vicente Yema, the captain of the team at that time.
You have got to understand one thing, that times have evolved. And does he want to tell me that there was no on-field confrontation between he as a captain? Did he stomach everything that happened then? And the way Osimhen reacted.
In fact, I remember that at the time, Okocha was to be the captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and then they gave it to Sunday Olise. That caused a kind of rift between those 2 players. That was early 2000.
Would we say so? Nigeria didn't make many finals or get to many World Cups because of that rift between the two. He has got to understand that if there was social media in his days,
yes, early 2000,
that thing that happened then,
of course,
would have been a big situation.
Definitely.
He's just leveraging on social media to talk nonsense. I think he said it on his YouTube podcast. And so you understand the type, and he's trying to make a controversial statement too. It's a subjective opinion. It's a subjective analysis. It's one, and I tell you, out of all the analysis I've read, I've watched, I think this is just the first time I'm seeing that nonsense. Because look at it, Lukman himself came out publicly to say no, there was no rift between them, and he said Lukman's performance dropped after that game. I think after Mozambique, we played against.
He said it broke the team spirit. And
he also said that Lukman's performance
dropped
after that.
Definitely.
Look at the game against Algeria. Would you say Lukman's performance dropped? No, of course not. He played well. We scored 2 goals. Victor Osimhen, one of the goals.
Yes.
And Adam Sako, the other goal. Does it mean that Lukman has to score in every single game? And against Morocco, we understand that it was
a tough game.
It was a tough game. Coupled with the external factor
definitely
that we couldn't handle ourselves. So he's talking about team chemistry, and this was a team that won the third position at beating Egypt, and we are saying
that Salah,
it broke team chemistry. I understand that. Yes, some of us are bad losers. We always want to win things, but you must understand as well that you can't just pick one out of everyone and try to lash out at him. Yes, he did something terrible against Finidi George, and I think he came out to apologize already.
He didn't
apologize.
apologize.
That's between him and Finidi George.
Yeah.
And for you to, I think he's leveraging on a lot of things. He's not major. He's been looking for an avenue. I see.
To attack Victor
Osimhen.
Let's talk about Victor Osimhen right now, because this is not the first time we'll be talking about Victor Osimhen. You referenced the other time that he had issues with Finidi George. I expected the NFF to punish him. Nothing happened. And then something happened at the African Cup of Nations. I mean, is it not too much on Osimhen? We know that Osimhen is a good player, but let's talk about Osimhen himself. Do you think that he has to work on himself? Because there are people are just using him as content creation kind of elements, because we know that he did what he did at the African Cup of Nations. And according to Lise, if you publicly criticize your teammates, it has a way of affecting their spirit. It has a way of affecting the survivor to actually beat a team like Morocco in the semi-final. Because I'm very sure he's saying that because we lost to Morocco. If Nigeria had beaten Morocco, probably if we had won that competition, there won't be talks about Victor Osimhen having altercation with Ademola Lookman.
Say that.
Osimhen, do you think he has to work on his temperament?
Evidently, Osimhen needs to work on his temperament.
But is it part of his makeup as a footballer? People are saying that where footballers like Mario Balotelli also had that, they were like that.
They exist.
Yes.
And sometimes you can't change them. And they can't change themselves. Mario Balotelli, he was just one of his kind.
Yeah.
He
was always
was one of his kind.
Yeah.
These players, they had their...
That's what he put to at Manchester United.
You are talking about Esteban Cambiaso.
Yes.
These players had their style.
Gattuso.
You can't get General Gattuso. The guy that slapped, beat players and even beat managers and assistant managers. So that was their own unique but to publicly lambaste your teammates, I think it's one thing to over the top for Victor Osimhen. Well, I don't know the reasons whatsoever the NFF didn't punish him. I wouldn't know, but he should.
Is it because
he should have been punished to serve warning and deterrent to other players. But that's past. It's past now, and well, I think maybe they sometimes they get them therapists to try to work on their
professional advice.
I don't know if he has that, but Mario Balotelli, only God knows how many therapists could have worked with him. And yesterday I was watching. I think Mourinho, he was saying something about Mario Balotelli. He said there was a game against a team in Russia, Kazan or something like that, and he had all his strikers injured except Mario Balotelli. They were leading 1-0, and in the 42nd, 43rd minute, Mario had picked up a yellow card. And he said in 15 minutes during the halftime break, he spent 14 minutes talking, pleading with Mario to not react to anything the referee said or the players, to not touch anyone. I tell you, I think 46 minutes. Mario Balotelli had got the red card. For Mourinho to say he pleaded with a player for almost 14 minutes.
Wow.
It mean he knew, coaches, managers need to understand players.
Yes.
Look, Sir Alex Ferguson, he knew how to handle players. And these things, they are bound to happen.
Yeah. They're also humans as well.
Man United against Everton this season, at home, playing against Everton. There was a fight between Ghana and Michael Keane. And teammates to teammates. Of course, Ghana got a red card, but they won the game.
Yeah.
And even Amorim, he was the manager, he came out to publicly say he would want that type of fight in his team. There was a fight between Robert Pire and Thierry Henry. And it's Cristiano Ronaldo and Benzema. They had public fallouts on the field.
Yes.
They won 4 Champions Leagues together. Roy Keane, when he was the captain of Man United, he fought with practically everyone.
Yes.
But then he even came out himself to say he hated Ronaldo sometimes for not releasing passes sometimes, but the next moment Ronaldo was scoring goals. And so these people knew how to manage character. And so when you know how to manage character, you can't affect team spirit. And I think the manager, I don't know what the manager did. If it affected team spirit, then the manager is also culprit.
All right, JJ, I want to talk about clash of generation right now. The 1994 team of Nigeria, likes of Daniel Amokachi, Sunday Olise, Victor Igbeba, they were the first to qualify Nigeria for the World Cup. Rashidi Yekini, may God rest his soul. They were fantastic for Nigeria, but they only won one African Cup of Nations. That was in 1994 in Tunisia. They got to the final in Nigeria, Ghana. So it's not as if they won 3 or 4 African Cup of Nations. A player like Samuel Eto'o has 2 African Cup of Nations. He won it in 2000, he won it in 2002. And that's the reason why he's also overbearing in Cameroon, because he will tell you that, well, I've seen everything. I play for Barcelona, I play for the biggest clubs in Europe. Now, this current set of the Super Eagles, we've got players like Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen. They're also good players. But they've not won the African Cup of Nations. The last time we won it was in 2013. And those guys have retired. I mean, the last in that set was Ahmed Musa. And Ahmed Musa has also retired. So, Joseph Yobo, those guys they've retired. So, is it a clash of generation between those people have said the 94 set is becoming so, they are overbearing. I think that they always have opinion for everything.
I think they are like Man United
of 1992.
Of 1992.
Yes.
When you win to some extent, but then we can make a case for Man United.
Of 1992.
They won so many trophies. How many trophies did 1994 set?
They won just one after. And they got to the round of 16 of the World Cup.
It's like, this thing is the African mentality.
Yes.
This one is not an issue of how many trophies they won or how well they performed. These guys also did well in this recently concluded Afcon. But I think sometimes it also comes out of the spirit of patriotism.
Yes. You
want your country to win. So we can't blame the older generation entirely.
Yeah, definitely.
In any case like this, it's always a two-side of a coin.
The right balance.
There's a way they will be right. There's a way they will be wrong. So we can't entirely shift the blame on Sunday Olise, Daniel Mokachi, or Victor Ikpeba that what they are saying is rubbish. No, it's left for this younger generation to pick up the challenge. They should take it as a form of challenge and start winning games. And I think if you look at before Amorim got sacked at United, there was constant pressure on Amorim and on the team. But he got to see Amorim began to.
He mentioned that in every that has been overbearing.
And he said it's affecting the players.
Yeah.
And when he left and Michael Carrick, I don't know what he did with the team. Now they've beaten Man City in the derby and got to the Emirates to beat Arsenal. There's a change. And if you look at the comments from these ex players now, it's positive.
Yeah.
It means they are trying to give a challenge out, but the way at which they are going about it, I think that's a negative.
All right. Still talking about ex-internationals trying to, talk about what happened at the Afcon. Osimhen said something, and he said Eritrea should have gone to the Afcon with home-based players. And I'm trying to understand the context at which he was speaking from. Now, if you look at the current NPFL right now, I don't think we have so many quality players in Nigerian Premier Football League. And even if they are taking them to the Afcon, I'm not sure they would have played 1 or 2 games for Nigeria. Do you think that if Nigeria had gone with home-based players in this competition, do you think that we would have done better than what we did in Morocco? But even there were some foreign-based players that we went with that they didn't play. They practically played like 10 or 15 players like Ebenezer Akinsemiro. There is one do you understand? But he said that we should pick players from Remo Stars, pick players from Academy Warriors. Are they good? Can they displace the foreign-based players?
I think he's trying to reference the time where JJ Okocha, Kanu Wako.
That was a long time ago.
Those were picked from Atlant, from Rangers, from Nigeria. When Nigeria had superstars, they were stars that could compete on the global stage. Do we have stars that can compete on the global stage now? How many of them can teams in Europe come for to buy? Because we have, it's a common trend that it seems we have politicized even getting footballers to play for teams now. We have talent that are rotting away. We have not talent because they have the opportunity to enter academy and get themselves and then they become footballers. How many of them can compete with footballers in Europe? You are talking about it. So that dimension, we have to look at it. You have Morocco. How many players are home-based in Morocco? We have Senegal. How many players are home-based now? We have Egypt. How many players were home? You look at other teams now. How many players? Senegal won. They should. The thing we should face, we won't face it. That's the problem with Nigerian football. Senegal and Morocco, they've been building their teams for the past decade, over a decade. And you want to pick players that just started last year, 2 years ago, to compete with players that have been playing over there. They've built a system. And look at how European countries, Mazraoui is playing for Manchester United.
Yes.
You have Brahim Diaz for Real Madrid. You have Bono, which recently just moved to Saudi Arabia. He was one of the best goalkeepers in Europa League for Sevilla. You have many of them playing for top teams, not top leagues, in top leagues. And you want us to go and pick people that are playing for Enyimba, for Atlant FC, for Rangers. Yeah, when did you hear of Atlant FC? When last did you hear of Enyimba? The new teams have sort of displaced them because things are, we should address it from the root. The moment we get it right from the root, then we want instant success. We should be ready to pay the price.
Lastly, JJ, I want to ask you this pointed question about Erichel, the coach of the Super Eagles. We've heard a lot of reports, a lot of rumor about his future, and he still has a year left on his contract. Countries like Tunisia, Nigeria, they want Erichel rights. According to reports, they are willing to offer $100,000 as salary. By the way, Erichel currently gets $50,000 as the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What do you think the NFF should do? People are saying that he did very well for Nigeria. We should try as much as possible to tie him down in a long-term contract. But Tunisia is offering double of what he's getting in Nigeria.
I think
that's a lot of money.
The thing is,
and they're also going to the World Cup. Remember,
when your performance begins to attract, there's something you are doing right.
Yeah,
you understand.
So Nigeria has actually exposed Erichel
exactly
because he was with Mali. You can't compare Mali with Nigeria.
To be honest with you, Toby, there are a lot of people that never gave Nigeria any chance.
Yes,
in this.
including myself. I mean, I
and
say that.
In fact, many people started watching Nigeria after Mozambique.
Yes. When we got to the
and the performance against Algeria really got many people in cheer to the Super Eagles team. That's why against Morocco, a lot of Nigerians were really disappointed. Not with the team, not with the performance. They were disappointed with the outcome, especially the officiating. And you see, it took us you know what they did to the referee, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of his social media accounts were taken down because Nigerians, they said, they reported it. So he's doing something right for him to have been quoted by other teams in Tunisia, Algeria.
And they're offering crazy money.
He's done something great. It's not something. I think the NFF now is no longer the time to start chopping and changing manager.
We need that consistency.
We need the consistency, which has plagued us for many years. We need the consistency. If they want to we have what it takes.
By the way, they can't even afford a proper foreign coach.
They can't.
I mean, I don't know if to refer to Erichel as a foreign coach. He's from Mali, but in context, I mean, when you say foreign coach, you meet people from other continents. But he's a foreign coach.
He's not
from Nigeria.
He's still a foreign coach.
I don't think we can afford the big foreign coaches that.
We can't.
If they say you go and pay $200,000 per month,
that's crazy money.
All right.
That's crazy money.
Let's get your feedback. We've talked about a lot on the Super Eagles. What happened at the African Cup of Nations? Do you agree with what Sunday Olise said about Victor Osimhen? He publicly said, well, is the reason why Nigeria didn't win that competition. We've talked about Erichel as well. Let's get your feedback on our comment section at Sports Hangout. We want to read from you. Definitely be happy to read from you on this topic. Sunday Olise versus Victor Osimhen. What do you think? And of course, Erichel. And just retrospect and what happened to Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations. Until next time, we'll see you. My name remains Toby.
And I'm JJ. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you.